Hey guys, it's Yak Miyar from the Reddit Rivals, and recently on Reddit there's been a discussion about death towers and how to handle them. Now, I'm not going to go too into detail about my opinion about the game as far as battling, but a lot of people are getting upset that death towers really shut down your army, especially since paladins are such an important part of metagame right now. However, I kind of feel that defenses are a little bit weak. I mean, if you can have a Stronghold 9 pretty consistently defeating everything up through a Stronghold 12 and oftentimes beating a Stronghold 13, I think that defenses actually need a buff. I'm not saying Death Tower per se, but definitely I think the range should be increased on a lot of the single target defenses, especially because walls are really not very effective and take up a lot of space. So that's kind of how I see things, but we're going to go ahead and move forward and talk about how to deal with death towers. They were nerfed recently. They only do 10% increased damage when the debuff is on troops, so not as big of a deal. But a lot of people are still very disappointed about how strong they are, and I think they aren't that big of a deal. So I'm going to show you a couple replays. None of them are spectacular, but I have one here from 2 days ago, so we're going to go ahead and take a look. Okay, so here's the first video. In this case, we've got two death towers. I think the big thing to notice is a lot of people tend to focus their death towers around their base. And in this case, our troops are going to destroy quite a bit before they actually start taking that debuff. So in this particular base, send my dragon and I need to create a funnel for my troops. Definitely don't want my paladins to wander, and they like to more than anything else. So creating this funnel, Four-Veil I think is definitely a strong dragon to use unless you can destroy the buildings before they're an issue. Do initial shield. You can see that I've got my maulers right there in front doing a lot of tanking. There's a group of soldiers as well and some ice elementals that I summoned. There's two sweeps from Four-Veil there, and that is huge because it really shuts down not the spell tower, but the damage buildings that are causing issues. Against Death Towers, summons are a big part of the game, in my opinion. So I don't really go for the big skills, and I actually don't use shield too often. So mostly here, just trying to keep up the summons so they're tanking catapult damage as well as hopefully absorbing the spell tower. So that one went pretty well. And let's look at another one. All right, so here's another base, 3 death towers. Do have a slight advantage. There's a watchtower here and a watchtower there that are currently upgrading, but I think it's still fair to show just because there are 3 death towers and they're spread out. As always, we are looking for a place for our dragon to build up his skill. So there are 2 points that will work, either the top left, but those buildings will die very quickly and don't give mana, or I can attack from the bottom and have a long time before I face any issues. So that's what we're going to do. Again, just takes a while, twiddle the thumbs. Gonna be able to actually, if I really wanted to, I could get all the way to the death tower here, which I am going to do. Oh, shoot. Let's try that one more time. All right. So I'm going to lose my dragon probably. Yep. But there goes the tower. So I'm going to drop my maulers in range here so the catapult can't really get them. There goes my paladin. Drop my first set of wardens right in there. And catapult's down. So now I'm going to drop my other set of wardens in the back there so that they can get that portal. I'm going to go ahead and freeze everything in the back. Give them a number of seconds there. And then I'm going to go ahead and shield up the paladins because they're going to take that death tower. Stronghold's down. I'm going to go ahead and use elementals. I could have done another mass freeze, but most of my wardens were on that bottom part, so they weren't going to get there in a whole lot of time. So the summons allow buildings to freeze when they die and to tank some of the more high damage death towers. So there we go. Didn't get all the gold, but you get the idea. All right, guys, so here's another replay. In this case, I'm facing a Stronghold 10, and there are 3 death towers right around the Stronghold there. The question always is, do I run head-on into the death towers since they're fairly exposed on the outside and try to take them out while taking massive amounts of AoE damage? Or do I attack the defensive buildings and save the death touch towers for last? And there's a couple responses to that depending on which base you are facing, how it's set up. But typically, I go for the outer defenses first. So the northern side is very exposed. Yes, there's a lot of damage up there, but I'm not only going to be affected by 1 death tower until I hit the stronghold. So don't get tempted by a base setup and go for the wrong place. So here we are. I can drop 4 Veil, get a portal. So get some mana from that. It's going to take a little bit of time here. As soon as I get that portal down, I'm going to go up and take out another portal across the base and build up some more mana. And then I'm going to go across one more time and take out a 3rd portal. Now you'll see the clock is winding down, and that's okay because I only need about a minute to take out this base. So there's the last portal, and all of a sudden I have a ton of mana. So here goes my Maulers. They're starting to take damage, and I'm going to just let them take damage. They have a lot of health. The Paladins are going to heal them up. And now that I'm there, I am going to use the mass freeze. And here's where people tend to make a mistake. They say, oh, I can keep shielding my guys. I've got lots of mana. And the answer is, against 3 death towers, you don't want to do that. You want to freeze as much as you possibly can, as frequently as you possibly can. So I'm just going to keep using that, shut everything down for as long as possible. Okay, now there's really not a lot left. Can shield my guys now, and I still have plenty of range damage left. I don't have a lot of tanks left, but they serve their purpose. The stronghold's down. I can go ahead and send in some elementals, which will now absorb the spell towers, and I was able to get a full clear of the base. Well, a full clear of everything that matters of the base. So there you go. Okay, so here's one more replay. I chose this one because the base is more compartmentalized. The walls are upgraded to, it looks like level 4 and 5, so there's been some attention put into that. The strongholds, at least a 9. So not a lot's being upgraded right now besides that Skywatcher. And again, we tend to focus, okay, there's 2 death towers down here, there's all these buildings I can destroy, let's get them out of the way early on, but then we're taking a lot of damage. So you can see that I take my time, get a bunch of these outer buildings taken down, and create this nice funnel on the north for all of my troops to just go right down in the middle. So there's my Maulers tanking, Paladins are behind, Wardens behind that. Shield them up in this case the first time because I want them to tank for a while. I really don't want to use any other skills until they're in range. So there goes the mass freeze. And I'm doing that so I can clear things on this side of the base while they get access to the stronghold. Okay, as soon as that goes down, use my dragon to freeze them up one more time. And this is going to allow me to get the stronghold. You'll notice that most of my wardens are still up. A lot of my maulers are. I've used ice elementals on the opposite side of the stronghold, the tank, and they're absorbing the spells from the Death Towers. And at this point in time, I've gotten what I need, so I kind of just stopped paying attention. I think I'm fast forwarding in the original version of this, but there's a little gold left, so I realized that and slow down. Um, Pop one more set of elementals to try to get that last smelter, and there you go. Okay, guys, so I think those replays should help you some. Again, I'm no expert at this, but I have been learning things as I've been progressing in the game and getting to higher levels. I think the biggest thing is to just really make use of your dragon, whether it's a damage or the freeze. Try to keep them alive, try to avoid anti-air stuff. Use those skills in combination with the spells of your ancients. We do have Aegis, who has the heal and dispel of tower debuffs, but that's apparently not working as intended, so death towers still are efficient against troops. And we also have Jaal, who has the protective area for friendly units, a heal, plus renders them immune to spell tower debuffs. And again, this doesn't seem to be working as intended, or at least as I would expect it to be right now. The first ability, shutting down a spell tower, works great, and this can also be an alternative against death towers, but I haven't seen this equal the effectiveness of Four Veil. So, you know, keep trying things out. Don't give up. Really think about how you're approaching the base and where you're funneling, staying out of range of that death tower as long as possible, throwing in summon units or perhaps a distraction of your regular troops to take that spell to survive for a while, like Maulers, while the rest of your main force is getting in the base and destroying things. So again, hope that was helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any other input, and hopefully I can get a few more replays in the future against some more challenging bases to help you out as you get into higher level streaks. All right, guys, see you next time.